I think we have to change the conversation in our society. Not in Southeast Asia, not in Malaysia, not in America. 7 billion people need to change the conversation of what success looks like. It is not to make $1 billion. It is to actually wake up in the morning and be in a good mood.
You got your perspective. I just want to be happy. Don't you want to be happy?
What up, Malaysia? What up, baby? Happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Yes, sir. I love you back. I love you back. Love you back. Hello, hello. Sit. I'm trying to see where the mics are. I'm very excited about today. We're working backstage, and we're gonna do a bunch of Q&A. First, I'm gonna give a little bit of a keynote, but we're gonna be setting up mics at some point, so please get ready for your questions. So, where do I wanna go? So look, there's a lot of things that are on my mind, and when I think about why you would come to this conference, what is always a big pressure and focus of mine is how do I bring value for you to coming to this event? Like, you're not here for kicks and giggles, there's something you're trying to get. And when I think about what somebody's trying to get, the reality is it's either the strategy, right, the information of the strategy, or it's the tactics. You know, there's two ways to go about this, strategy and tactics. And so for me, I always skew towards tactics because it's practical. Like, get happy or this and that or mindset, you know, it's super important, but it feels like it could lack the tangible notion to actually get you there. So that was my framework for a decade. Over the last couple of years, a lot of the things that I try to say, and when I look at people consuming my content, and then why they're not doing something about it, I started realizing over time that it wasn't just the tactics, it was important for me to create the framework, the blueprint, the strategy, the why, so it allowed you to get there. So many people in this audience have a very good sense of what to do, but the reason they're not doing it is because they fear the judgment of others when they would actually do it. Look, it's very simple. If you follow anything or a lot of other people are saying, it's very clear that this device has changed the framework of our society. And whether you're in Southeast Asia or America or Europe or South America, it's universal. This has changed everything from a practicality standpoint. But if you're fearful to go in because it's not what your parents want, or because you're not willing to pay the sacrifice of time and eat shit for 5 years to get what you want, it doesn't matter that you're knowledgeable, that YouTube and podcasting and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter or LinkedIn work on this platform. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I sit here for the next 45 minutes and tell you that in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in Singapore, in the collective Southeast Asia, besides mainland China, that Instagram story ads are so underpriced that if you spend $1,000 on them and actually put good content in there, whatever you're trying to accomplish will happen. It doesn't matter if I tell you that. How many people here consume my content? Raise your hands. Thank you. The reality is, and you probably know this, there's not many things that I believe in. There's only 7 to 10 things I believe in. I say them over and over every day in different ways. But if you consume my content, it's very unlikely I'm gonna say something in this 30 minutes that's so different than what you've heard from me. It's kind of the way I think about getting into shape. You've heard for 20 years that it's exercise and eating right. You just wish it was a pill. And that's how I think about business. It's not very complicated. You have to have a good product, and then you have to communicate that product and service, and then you have to do that over and over and over again, and then something good will happen. Yet, everybody wants to know how to get from 0 to $1 million, or from 0 to 1 million followers fast. Fast is fundamentally the scariest word for me in business. Everything that has happened that's been good to me is slow. How many people here are under 31 years old? Raise your hands. Keep them up. When I was 31 years old, keep them up, don't be lazy. When I was 31 years old, I was making less than $100,000 a year working in a liquor store, building a business for my dad, and was going to be leaving 3 years later owning nothing. Keep it up. Under 31, I worked in a liquor store, ringing people up at the register. You can put it down. Everybody wants to get to a place, very few are willing to sacrifice to get there. Everybody wants something, and very few people are executing to go there. The amount of people whose actions map to the ambition coming out of their mouth is very low. There is no shortcuts, there is no secret, there's no system or model. There's the very basic nature of this. No matter what you do in this room, the customer that you're trying to reach is either very difficult to get to or very easy to get to on your ability to understand what's happening in the world. What I mean by that is there's only marketing and sales. There's marketing and branding, and then there's sales. Understanding how they're different and why they're different is important, and then understanding how to do marketing and branding so that you're not at the mercy of sales is an incredibly important thing to do for long-term success. So for me, I spend all my time trying to figure out for my businesses and for the businesses I'm an investor in, how do you build a brand so that you're not at the mercy of sales or other platforms? How do I get you to want to do business, period, regardless of any other variable? The only way to do that is to bring more value to the consumer than you're asking for in yourself. The main reason that people struggle with social media content being successful for them is because when they post, they're selfish, not selfless. The number one reason, if you've been trying to grow your audience on these platforms and it is not successful, normally, 90% of the time, it's because when you post, you're posting for yourself, not for your audience. You want it for you, not for them. Period. And for me, that has been the foundational reason where a lot of my stuff has worked. And so for me, my number one challenge, Malaysia, is can you go 2 months with putting out content that only brings people value and creates nothing for you in return? You have to understand that intent is the most important part of the process. If you're putting out a piece of content just so it goes into your funnel so that you can make money on that person, you're fucked. Let me say it one more time for the kids in the back. If the second you post a video or a picture or written words, in your heart, the reason you're writing it, the reason you're recording it, the reason you're posting it is to get them into you so you can sell them, you're in trouble. Because you may be good enough in the short term to get some money up front, but you will never build something long-term and meaningful. And until you understand that, you will continue to look for shortcuts, quick fixes, systems, and all sorts of other horse shit to let you make some money in the short term, and that is the macro vulnerability. The end. Actually, I can leave now. I'll stay, because I think I'm contractually obligated. But the reality is that I genuinely feel that to be true. So look, here's what's happening. We've never lived in a time where the attention of our consumer is easier to get to. The cost to do content on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, these platforms is super low. It's super low. It's hard. It takes time. You need to make a lot of it, but the cost is low. The ads are low, and even more importantly, the organic reach on some of these platforms is very high. I'll give you one very tactical thing. If you are not producing content on LinkedIn every day, you're making a huge mistake. Let me explain why. LinkedIn today, and remember, it's not up here, but my last book, Crushing It, I see it, right? I didn't even write about LinkedIn in that book. I wrote that 18 months ago. And LinkedIn is not even in that book. It was that not important. I put every other platform, but 18 months ago, if I was here, I wouldn't even said the word LinkedIn. Today, it is easily, in my opinion, one of the most ridiculous places for you to put content to drive your business, because the organic reach, you could have no followers on LinkedIn. You could sign up for a LinkedIn account today, write an article or make a video about whatever the hell you do for a living, post it, and get more people to see it than if you have 5,000 followers on Instagram, because the organic reach is reaching new people. The problem is, back to the first point I made on the other side of the stage, if what you're saying or writing isn't bringing value to the audience, it's selfish for you to get their money, you're gonna lose. Whoever holds their breath the longest wins. Whoever holds their breath the longest wins. The quicker you go for the sale, the less leverage you have. The more you try to disguise your sale, the more full of shit you are. This is the foundation and the framework that has forever worked for me. How many people here are entrepreneurs? Raise your hand. How many people here work for somebody? Raise your hand. Just want to get a sense. Who did not raise their hand in the last two questions? Raise your hand. Just want to make sure. My friends, what's amazing about this world, and if you're not following along in the first 15 minutes, let me say it one more time. I believe that every business, every person has to produce pictures, videos, and audio sounds for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Obviously, if you're in Japan, you have to do it for Line. Obviously, if you're in mainland China, you have to do it for WeChat or Weibo. If it was 5 years ago in Indonesia, you had to do it for Path. I don't care the name you put it. It's the social networks where people interact. That's where you need to be. The luxury of this market is a couple things. When I look at the costs associated with the advertising on Facebook and Instagram, on YouTube, it's ridiculously low in this market. Even lower than it is in the US, and as you know, every day I yell about how underpriced it is. So imagine how good of a deal I think you have. To me, the concern I have, and why I've started this talk the way I have, is because I'm concerned about what you're gonna say. A lot of people don't know what to say. They're insecure. Why would somebody listen to me? And so what they start to do is fake it. They start to pretend they're an expert. They start to wear clothes that makes it look like they're successful. They fake it. It will never work. It will never work. What you're much better off doing is documenting your journey. You don't need to be an expert. You need to be honest. If you notice, sometimes I said it earlier, if I talk about the same stuff, and once in a while somebody will leave a comment, or even here will be like, Gary, you talk about the same shit. And I look at them like, do you want me to lie and make up shit? Of course I talk about the same shit, because I've been running businesses for 20 plus years, and it works. And when I look at other businesses that work, they're doing the same thing I'm doing. And then when I look at other things, I see businesses sometimes that work for a year and then collapse, because it's what I've been talking to you about for the first 15 minutes, which is if you're gonna be built on shit, you're gonna sink. You like that one? That was a good one. I like it too. Like a shit, it's soft. I get it. Judgment is very interesting to me. I've come to realize in the last 3 years that it is judgment that is stopping 90% of this audience. Especially when you go into different subcultures, it is scary to me how many of you are not doing things because you're worried about what your parents would think. You're worried about disappointing your parents. You're worried about the leverage your parents have. And that is unbelievably true in every culture, but obviously quite true in this culture. Judgment is the number one thing that I need to break you out of for you to even begin to make content on social networks. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be right. You need to stay in your lane. You need to talk about what you know. You need to talk about what you're passionate about. You got to talk about either what you like or what you know. But you can't worry about the comments. Are you really going to live your life based on somebody anonymous saying that you're ugly or not smart? Yet almost everybody does. The amount of people that refuse to post or stopped posting because of a negative comment is remarkable, or because of a snarky comment by their brother or best friend or girlfriend. It's remarkable to me how grateful I am, how thankful I am that I was parented in a way that built self-esteem, confidence. And I'm grateful and also sad by how many aren't. And the only way I know how to break it is to push positivity and optimism and practical positivity into the ecosystem. If you're sitting in this audience today and you're not happy, and I mean this, like really ask yourself, are you happy? It's really been interesting to me to find something that works, which is you have to change who you're listening to. If you're sitting in this audience today and you're not happy, you have to change who you're listening to. It's scary to me that 85% of the people that are here today are here for one reason. They're looking for something because most likely a parent put them in a position that hasn't allowed them to feel fully comfortable. And so what has gotten me more motivated than ever around this subject matter is this, and I'm gonna keep going back to it. I would not be giving this keynote 20 years ago because living a life around putting out content on a platform that could reach so many people wasn't real. When the internet wasn't here, it was harder to do what you love. It was harder to be practical. You couldn't work your day job and then start a whole nother big career after because it was late at night and the internet didn't exist, so there was no scale. You know what, we're gonna open a store that was only open from 9 p.m. to midnight? It wasn't practical. It is now. This is like, I wish everybody here understood, including me, how lucky we are to be living in a world where the internet is now a thing. Our grandparents didn't have these options. We must take advantage of this. And everybody thinks there's a right way. There is no right way. There's only your way. Some people are great at writing, others are not. Some people are comfortable in front of a camera, others are not. Some people are good at talking, others are not. The fact that you have the ability to control how you put out information based on what you're good at is remarkable. I don't want you to have a video blog if you're not comfortable in front of a camera. It's the reason I don't write. All my written content is Rogoff on my team taking the transcription of my audio. I can't write. I've written 5 New York Times best-selling books, and I can't write. I'm serious. This is important. I have a top 100 podcast, and I don't sit down and do a podcast. I strip the audio out of my vlog. Can we hear it for D-Rock? He's sitting on the ground. I deploy self-awareness and self-esteem to reverse engineer myself to put myself in a position to succeed. It is my great hope that I can inspire people to do the same, but it starts with being self-aware and having self-esteem. I will give you the tactics one more time. I think you should post on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Like it's the same shit. It works for everybody who does it. The problem is you're not doing it. And if you're doing it, you're so selfish that nobody wants to hear it. You understand? In a world where everybody can put out content, it means you have to be good, bless you. It means that you have to be good. The way to be good is to actually provide value. The way to provide value is actually care what they think, not what you think. It's like this keynote. This keynote is 100% gonna be content that brings you value, nothing else. That feels different than if it was something else. And that's what an audience understands. And so I wanna put real pressure on the framework, on the concept, on what's actually happening here, which is we are living through a transitional, transformative technology known as the internet. It is now finally 25 years old and mature. Everybody has it. Everybody has it all the time. And the whole world is getting flipped upside down. And you have an opportunity to take a piece of it. The problem is everybody wants to take the whole piece. Everybody's like, Gary, I'm gonna build the next Twitter or Uber or Facebook. Everybody's gonna build $1 billion company. News alert, you're not building $1 billion company. How about just building a company that you like and makes you happy? How about just doing something you like every day? Everybody's got to, right? Like, how about that? How about people in here realizing that they have a job that might pay them a little bit more than something else, but they hate it, but they're not willing to live in a more humble home or drive a more humble car, and so they have a miserable job just to pay for shit that they have to impress other people that they don't even like. How about that fucking conversation? It has never been easier, and I don't like using the word easy, but I'm gonna say it. It has never been easier to make $100,000 a year because of this. The problem is everybody thinks you have to make $1 billion, and the problem is nobody has humility to live a $100,000 lifestyle. I think we have to change the conversation in our society. Not in Southeast Asia, not in Malaysia, not in America. 7 billion people need to change the conversation of what success looks like. It is not to make $1 billion. It is to actually wake up in the morning and be in a good mood. And whether that is me, who loves the game of entrepreneurship so much that he goes so hard every day because he just loves what he does, or if it's somebody who only wants to work 25 hours a week because all their other passions are so interesting to them and that's what is good for them, we have to allow for everything. We have to allow for everything because everything is true and everything is real. And you need to figure out, my biggest fear of my popularity is that you think you have to do it like me. The only hope I have when you look at me is that you try to figure out your version of you that makes you as happy as my version of me makes me. I want to remind everybody here, I'm 43 years old, which means when I loved entrepreneurship in America, nobody else did. It was not popular, only school. So I loved this thing before it was this thing. And guess what? When the economies collapse, everybody's gonna go off of entrepreneurship and go back to a job, and I'm gonna still love this thing when it's not as cool as it is today. When there isn't sneakers and fans, I'm gonna still like it because it's mine. I've always done it, and I always will. You need to figure out that for you. Not what your parents think, not what I think, not what the comments think, you. Yeah. How are we doing Q&A? I'd like, oh, there are the mics, I see it now. Okay, real quick, because I'm gonna do a couple more minutes, but I'm gonna do another 5-10 minutes. But if you've got questions, there's mics all the way over there and all the way over there, so you should start lining up now if you have questions, because I'm not gonna be able to get to them all anyway. So this is your, wow, you're fucking running. Don't push her. Be careful, Jesus fucking Christ. While we're setting up for questions, let me talk about a couple other things, and hopefully that will lead to the questions. I'm going very philosophical on you, right? I think, how many people here have followed me for more than 5 years? Just curious, probably not a lot. Okay, appreciate it. Some of you will know, it's interesting that I'm going higher up. It's uncomfortable for me. I don't wanna be a motivational speaker. I don't wanna talk in theory, but I'd be lying if I didn't tell you the reason I keep going higher is because it's been so clear what to do. Like, I guess maybe you all got, I write the books, like it's there. I put it out every day, it's there. What has transpired over the last 3 years is I'm like, why are people still not doing it? I can tell you exactly what to do. Figure out how you talk best, pictures, videos, written word, audio, post it on Facebook, LinkedIn, like it's that basic. That's what's led me to all the shit that I start thinking about, which is why, judgment, insecurity, lack of confidence, faking it, which then doesn't feel good after a while, so you're stuck because you know you're lying, right? And so my biggest concern is that when people push you to wealth quickly, inevitably you have to fake it. And the reality is, that's why I talk about documenting it, not creating it, right? Just film, talk about trying to figure it out. That's real. Talk about the judgment of others. That's real. But then talk about your expertise, what you want to sell, you know, what you have. To me, a couple years ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago, I wrote a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. The reason I did that was to give everybody a framework. Give, 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 and then ask. When you give, you need to give. When you ask, you need to ask. I'm here to give. This is a keynote. I will not sell you here. This is a keynote. I'm gonna give. But I'm also very comfortable when my new sneaker comes out to post it on Instagram and say, buy it. The problem is, most people when they give with expectation that they're gonna get something in return. That is the non-definition of giving. When I give, I give. And if it doesn't mean that when I wrote Jab, 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 Right Hook, I said, give, 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 and then ask. The way everybody heard it, give, 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 and then take. We have to slow down. If you actually thought about your life in a 50-year window or an 80-year window, you would slow down. Everybody wants to succeed so fast because they want to prove something to somebody else. That makes you vulnerable. That makes you vulnerable. When you're producing for more likes, when you're producing for more subscribers, when you're producing for more money, when you're producing for more fame, it makes you vulnerable. Produce to bring value to the other party, so much so that it guilts them into doing business with you. I mean it. You want to really build something meaningful? Think about producing content in a way that is so valuable that it guilts people to do business with you. That is how I see brands that win, win. Thank you. In that vein, because so many of you consume my content and I could be repeating my tried and true things over and over and that will bring you less value, I'm gonna move to Q&A because it will get me into a place of saying new things and bring you the most value. So thank you so much, Malaysia, thank you. Let's do it. What's your name?
Brent, and I'm originally from Orlando, Florida, but now here in Kuala Lumpur.
Awesome. How are you, Brent?
Good. My question actually isn't for me, it's for my son. He's 10, his name's Giovanni.
Giovanni.
He wants to be a Twitch streamer.
Sounds
but
right.
He struggles with his confidence. So I'm wondering if you can give him a few words of what he can do, what type of action he can take every day to build his confidence.
Giovanni, I think the question, I see we're recording this. Look, when you're 10 years old, confidence is a very funny thing. You're still forming as a human. But the reality is if you're twitching and you're over-responding to how many subscribers you have or what your friends in school are saying, you're not going to be able to be successful. And so you're lucky, Giovanni, to be able to start this process now, not when you're 45 years old. The quicker you get comfortable with judgment of others, the more likely you'll be successful long term. The way to get your confidence up is to start enjoying the pushback, is to start enjoying people say that you can't, is to start enjoying the judgment of others who don't understand. If you're not comfortable in your own framework, you'll never succeed.
Thanks, Gary.
You got it, bro.
Hello?
It's on.
Hi, Gary.
How are you?
I'm great. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous.
No worries.
Okay, so my question is a bit long, so I hope you guys don't mind Yeah, so I'm 27 years old. I'm from Arizona. My name is Bilal. And I came to Malaysia when I was 19 years old, and there was trials that I went through with me, my sister, and my family. So at the end of the day, I lost my mom. So I had to start working. So I started this business, and cut story short, the business is still running until now. I'm 27. I started it when I was a freshman in college. The business did earn a lot of money, which we are selling. It's a clothing brand. But the problem that I'm facing is, first of all, I don't give a shit what people think. I never did. I never will. I used to sell in the street, you know, in every single street you can imagine. I've been there. I've been in a lot of newspaper from Dubai. They wrote about me. You know, I've been on a lot of local TV channels here, everywhere. But then the business, I cannot structure it properly. I tried hiring, firing, and no one just wants to do the fucking job, Gary. Like, I don't know, like, people are just, is it me that I'm not giving the job properly?
It's 100% you. Even the way that you're casting judgment on your employees already makes me know that you're not a good leader.
Maybe.
Not maybe.
For sure.
For sure.
I'm trying to be one, but
I believe you.
I'm trying.
I believe you.
I've been hustling.
Listen, let me tell you one thing about me, and I know you consume me. I only give advice that I know the person can handle. That wasn't fun for me to say, but I believe you.
And I respect that.
And I believe you, which I respect. But the answer is it's you.
Thank you.
And so the number one mistake that people like you and I that come from the street and work hard is we expect our employees to work hard, but the problem is they don't own the business. You can't ask an employee to work as hard as you, or you create a fake expectation versus how much you compensate them. That's like asking somebody to love your child as much as you love them. It's not natural. You work for them, they don't work for you. D-Rock's my boss. I try to reverse engineer him. And so the biggest mistake people make and why they can't build scalable businesses is they have selfish expectations of their employees.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Makes sense?
Yeah, but I'm just, you know, I'm mentally tired from running this business, you know, it just...
Sell it.
No, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up.
When you start, listen, you need to be careful. And I don't know every detail, but selling a business doesn't mean giving up. You might sell it to put yourself in a position to be way better.
Yeah.
You know,
I learn every day.
I get that, but you know, like, listen, perspective matters. When I'm listening very carefully to you, the first part was very easy. I said you just by the way you said it.
Yeah.
If you believe selling a business means giving up, you're gonna be in a very big trap. You know, like if you're burnt out from it or kind of getting close to it, even if you're not fully there, you need to be thoughtful. Selling a business or giving a 20% of the business to somebody else who's hungry, who might not be burnt out, that's called being strategic, not giving up.
Appreciate it, man.
Hi, Gary.
How are you?
Hi, Gary. I'm Max.
Max.
So I took everything I learned from you and I founded Just Story. So Just Story is a social media platform. On Just Story, our users can share anything they want, but they only view contents that they care about. And then we'll connect them with other like-minded users who share similar interests with them. So currently, none of the other social media app in the world is able to do that. So will you please download and check out our app? I'm sure you're gonna love it. And we'd love to have you as an investor for our startup. If it takes off, potentially billions of people around the world will know your name, and you will secure your legacy forever. Can I please know what is the best way for me to keep in touch with you?
You can email me and I'll take a look at the app.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You're welcome. Yo.
Hello, Gary.
How are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm great. My name is Surur Ibrahim from Nigeria. And I know it's quite weird. I'm quite nervous, but I don't know where I'm gathering the courage to talk from. I've been watching you for all you God knows when. 5 years, 6 years, I'm not sure. With all my siblings and all. So I'm a photographer. By the way, shout out to D-Rock. I look up to him.
I get it.
And so I come from Africa, and in Nigeria, everyone is just getting introduced to things like the technology. Don't get me wrong, we have it, but like the young world is just getting into business and everyone is just so excited. The new blood is getting in the field.
Yes.
So I try my best to create content my own way, to sell it to people. Of course, yeah, I know I have my own issues. As you said, if you do it for yourself, then you're not doing the right thing. Yeah, sometimes I do the content for myself. I post it for myself because I like it.
Good.
I don't consider the client first or the audience first. So
And there's nothing wrong with that, especially because the next day you can post something for them. But it's important when you know you're doing something for yourself, that means it may not be bringing value to somebody else, thus you can't expect something from them. There's nothing wrong with doing everything selfish for yourself, just recognize that that's not gonna make anybody love that.
yeah, so the thing is, I have some few students, photography students that I teach.
Okay.
I held some workshops back home in Nigeria.
Yes.
By popular demand. So sometimes you see the audience would be so pumped to sign up to some workshops and things, but when you put them out, no one would show up. Or maybe sometimes your pricing, or maybe my pricing would be a bit expensive to them.
Okay?
While to me, I'm kind of underpricing my product.
But they're right. You're wrong. You have to understand
Okay.
why. If they're not buying, they're not interested. That means you're overpriced. It doesn't matter what you think.
So how do you think I can send the message? I really need to send the message
Lower the price.
to the audience.
Lower it.
Okay. Okay. First of all, I'm not being insistent here, but I use really high-end
They don't
equipments.
care.
Okay.
My friend, the market is always right. Nobody gives a shit about your problems.
Okay.
Lower your price.
That's an important message, by the way, to
It's
Africa.
it's a very important message. The amount of, when you're trying to sell something to somebody
Yeah.
and they're not buying, it's not their fault. But that's what you're trying to say,
Yeah.
which makes you a bad salesman.
Thank you, sir.
It means you're audacious and you lack the humility to build a scalable business.
That's what I want to hear.
You got it.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I love you.
Hello, Gary.
Hello.
My name is Nini Chong.
It's nice to meet you.
I am the co-founder of a community organization called Mompreneur Asia.
Okay.
Therefore, I think that my question would benefit not only myself, but other mothers and parents out there.
Amazing.
So I have a son who is super talented.
Okay.
He had his own TV show on our Malaysia satellite TV at the age of 8 years old. He
Okay.
can sing, he can talk, and he loves the digital world.
Okay.
He wants to get into YouTube.
Okay.
So I think that mothers who are in the digital economy needs to walk the talk, right?
Okay.
So I need to know how that I can support my son or my daughter so that he could get into the digital world or social media, do a YouTube video, do social media posting. He's 11. I have 11-year-old and a 6-year-old, by the way.
Okay.
They love social media. But
Okay.
how can me as a parent support them doing that effectively and be safe about it?
By watching what they're doing.
I mean techniques or
Sign into their-
strategy.
Keeping them safe is watching them. I think what you're asking me is not how to keep them safe, how to help him grow.
Correct. How to keep them, how to have them move forward.
By giving them the framework and the freedom to put out the content without putting the pressure of it being successful. The number one mistake that everybody's making in social media is they want followers. You wanna help them? Tell your son and then your 6-year-old daughter, I guess, to not worry about how many subscribers they have.
What about content? What kind of content?
Whatever the fuck they wanna make. It's true. It's true. I mean it. Don't overthink it. If you overthink the success, your kids are gonna have no shot. I mean it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, hey man,
man.
my name is Sat. Okay, so first time I ever saw you online, I was pissed off. I was just so fucking pissed off. I was
Yes.
like, who the fuck is this asshole?
Yes.
To tell me that I'm doing all my shit wrong.
That's right.
And I was so triggered, but I just kept watching your shit, and like. And like, I know you've said a lot of things over the years, but I think the biggest thing that hit me was the fact that you said everyone has to be kind.
Yes.
And it's all about your intention.
Yes.
And I just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you,
Because I
brother.
feel like our society these days, everyone's lost the meaning of the word kindness.
Yes.
And you were the one that started spreading that back
Thank you,
into
brother.
our society.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And brother, you know what's really powerful about your story? I'm willing to be unliked up front to help. The reason I triggered you is because I put pressure on your bullshit. I mean it. I know you know, and that's why you were thoughtful. You had the strength inside to know it subconsciously, which is why you stayed. The reason the people that you know that don't like me is because I'm not willing to let you bullshit, because if I let you bullshit, you'll become entitled and you'll lose. Kids love when I'm like, tell your parents to go fuck themselves, right? They love that. But kids don't like when I say, hey, if your parents want you to go to college and you want to start a business, you need to leave and you can't require your parents to help you. Kids love when I say screw the parents, but they hate it when I say, but if you're gonna go do your own thing, you've gotta do it. You've gotta get a shitty job and a shitty apartment and you gotta eat shit. Kids want to do what they want, but they want their parents to fund their dream. That's when kids don't like me as much. So that's the game.
Hi Gary.
How are you?
Good. I'm Vis. No questions. I mean, you post so much valuable content, Gary
Thank you.
archives, all the interviews. I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Man, you're amazing.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad someone like you exists in the world.
That
So
means a
that's
lot
it.
to me.
Thank
you so much. Thank you for coming. That was very kind.
Hi, Gary.
How are you?
Good, thanks. My name's Aisha.
Aisha.
And I actually originally from New Zealand, but
Very
I've
nice.
lived in Malaysia for 22 years. And Malaysia is a fantastic place.
I agree.
That's why, hopefully I'll be here to the day I die. So that's that. Firstly, I'd like to thank you for giving us all a damn good talking to.
Thank you.
Because I think what you say really hits people because it's the absolute truth.
Thank you.
And the lies that we all live is absolutely true.
Thank you.
So
And I'll tell you-
anyway,
and
my,
I'm going to add on this. I'll tell you why. I'm more interested in being historically correct so I have a proper legacy than to make money in the short term.
yeah, that's
It's
true.
better.
Yeah. Anyway, I have a language center here. I own and operate a language center. It's very successful.
Good.
We are moving to digital in terms of online learning.
Yes.
Currently, we have an app which is doing very well.
Good.
We're about to launch an actual fully comprehensive online ESL
I
learning
understand.
system.
Yep.
And the question I have is that online system that we have now that we're about to launch is really good, but it does require desktop learning. Meaning,
That's a problem.
Yeah, they need to use a keyboard. So my question is, we want to go mobile.
You have to.
Yeah,
Because you're creating too much friction.
yeah,
I don't remember the last time I saw a real computer.
yeah. So what do you see as the future?
Not a
for
desktop
that?
computer. No, I love that you're on it, right? Like,
Yeah.
you have to, I know it's painful when your infrastructure is built on something else. It's money, it's time, but nobody's going back. So you have to make it mobile first.
So how do you see the mobile technology developing to be able to encompass learning that involves...
A keyboard?
Well, not a keyboard, but...
But notice where you're about to go. It is a keyboard.
Yeah, but what do you see the future of the keyboard as then?
Similar to the future of the pager. In a museum.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Gary.
How are you?
Hi, I'm Ashley Camille here. So, first of all, if it's not because of 2 years back, November, one of your keynotes, I am literally not on any social content at all. So, right after that, it's only the right moment of time. So within 2 years, right now I'm running a social media agency. The team is in the US and I'm serving US clients.
Amazing.
So I want to thank you for that.
Of course.
And as 2 years goes through, I did, for me and my team, we're discovering the more niche in the market where we're specialized in gift marketing.
Okay.
So I did realize that in last year, Christmas, you do a recap, then you're going to grow more on gift marketing as well as hiring in your team for, gifts animator and what sort.
Yes.
And for even this year, you started in your newsletter, you start putting in timestamp for all your gifts to incorporate into smaller content.
Yes.
So for this route, I'm totally with the same par with you since last year. We start implementing to all of our clients, thought leaders. We do it for personal branding.
Understood.
And what it's your future or vision being for this type of niche, it's very specific. And more towards leveraging into, instead of creating shorties, this is much more consumable, on replay, smaller content on all the community.
So are you asking me how viable is being very one-dimensional around GIF marketing?
Incorporating gifts into all other social platforms and leveraging, building up the community for personal branding versus in the traditional way gifts have all this role.
GIFs for personal branding is a very good tactic and a very tried and true thing that will last for a while. GIF communication is now in our culture and has a very long tail to it.
Yes.
I just would tell you that it's always a vulnerability to be too one-dimensional.
Yeah.
So I believe in it. You just don't want somebody like VaynerMedia to also do that, but everything else, and then they don't want to work with you because you're just one-dimensional. So keep it, but if you're the best at that dimension, then you will always have a seat at the table. So it's a strategic decision that you have to make.
And you're visioning if this in the future, is this gonna be the next the it thing for another platform of leverage, be for Garyvee and Sonora, they are growing from there?
I don't think so. I think it's just part of the conversation.
Okay.
GIFs and emojis and slang, it's just a form of communication. I don't think it's a platform in itself. It's how we communicate in platforms.
We did incorporate into community group management, and we see a huge increase of growth.
Yes.
And the engagement growth using the thought leaders as the brand itself, so we can see that we come in hand together with.
Don't ever get too romantic about one tactic, because then you become vulnerable.
Okay.
So use this as the foundation to build on top of.
Okay.
Or become the best in the world in just it. Those are your only two options.
So last question is.
I'm gonna move because I'm running out of time, and I'm not gonna get to everybody.
Okay,
Thank
got
you.
it, got it.
Hi, Gary.
Hi.
I just want to say I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
And you changed my life. In high school, I'm in my final year in high school, and I've had a hard time finding friends, or but you've gotten me through all of the hard days, and you've inspired me.
Thank you.
So my question is, I'm an athlete and I'm into sports science, and you always say turn your passion into a business because you can monetize anything, right?
Yes.
So I was thinking, okay, I'll go to college, I'll go to university, get a sports science degree, and
Yes.
then open a gym or an institute.
Okay.
But then I realized, like, maybe I don't have to go to college. Maybe I can just start a business and find a sports scientist to partner up with me.
You could.
Yeah, but I also think I should go to college because it's a good experience. I just feel really lost. And
Can I put you in a very good mood?
Yes, please.
Whichever one you choose, you'll never know how the other one would have played out.
Yeah, that's true.
No, really, and I'm gonna use this for everybody. Everybody's so crippled by decisions, but you never know how the other thing worked out. Let me give you an example. Let's say you don't go to college, and you start this business, and you were 100% right, and it's huge, and you're doing so great,
Yeah.
but because you did that, you had to fly to America for a big meeting, and your plane crashed and you died. That would be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Or you think you're gonna go to college because it's a good experience and you'll meet people. You can meet people in a business. You're not gonna know. As some of you guys know, I famously passed on Uber twice, which means currently I missed out on $600 million. You could think that's a mistake, or if I would have invested in Uber, maybe I'd be somewhere else right now and picking up a disease that would kill me a year later. Maybe. I think people overthink decisions. You'll never know what the alternative would have been. So just pick one and do it.
So you're saying that if I don't go to college, I won't be missing out on anything? Like, are you?
No, I understand what you're asking, and everybody here thought it.
Because it's nice to have a safety, right? Like.
Yeah, I just don't think your degree is as safe as you think.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean that, and by the way, like, it's an important conversation. Parents grew up in an era where a degree was safe, but companies, guys, watch the world. The biggest companies in the world every day are stopping requiring college degrees. It's just not as valuable. So, but it might be, but for you, forget about a general concept. For you, maybe that degree would have been good. What I'm saying is, you're not gonna know. So choose, live, and then if it works out, great, and if it doesn't, adjust. Everybody thinks they can have the perfect decision. There is no perfect decision. There's just life. So pick and be happy with it.
Thank you so much, Gary. I love you.
I love you back.
Hi, Gary.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Tremendous.
Okay, just a quick story. I actually applied for VaynerMedia. I followed your content for 5 years already, and
Thank you.
It's been amazing so far. Yeah, so I applied for VaynerMedia for like 4 years, so 1 year into watching your content.
Okay.
Tried for 2 years, didn't get any reply. I even tried for internship.
Yep.
I even tried for work for free, but I didn't get any replies. But all good. But my question is actually. How would you actually identify what are you actually doing right now is the right thing for you?
As a human?
As a human, as in a career?
Completely the same answer I just gave that young woman. You have no idea.
When would you know?
When you die.
Cool. Thanks.
You're welcome. Guys, and I know it's like fun and everything, but it's the truth. You don't know. Like there's no time machine, there's no future machine. We're all over-analyzing everything. Like, how do you know? You don't. Like, this is why I keep trying to push people. The only thing that I know seems practical is, are you happy? Are you happy today? Feels like it's the right thing. Are you this is important. You can't analyze. Like, I didn't know that starting a YouTube show for my wine business was gonna be the reason that I was gonna have a huge investing career. I couldn't see that. There's a million things I've done wrong. It's because I didn't do something that would have sent me somewhere else, but I have no idea. You don't know. You don't.
Hi, Gary.
Hi.
First of all, just want to say that even though I didn't follow you like anybody other else there,
Yep.
but I just fucking love you.
Thank you.
You are the one and only that I've ever paid for a seminar or like a conference like this.
Thank you so much.
And second of all, I'm actually, I would say that I run two business. One is RSCC and one is Lumo PLT.
Okay.
I would like to seek advice from you that what would be your advice for someone like me that I kind of like a jack of all trade.
Me too.
And I like a lot of stuff that, but
Don't let other people tell you to focus.
Really?
Of course, because that's your focus.
But don't you feel like you never
No.
really achieved
Nope.
something?
People, that just means that you're creative and entrepreneurial. I need to do 100 things. And I don't mind if 20 of them fail, because for me to just focus on one thing doesn't work for me. So when people say to you, hey, you should focus on one thing, that's people who don't fucking know what the fuck they're talking about. What they're saying is, for me, I would do well with focusing on one thing. This is why I give general advice, and then when I do Q&A, I give specific advice, right? No, you're like a lot of people, me included, which is you enjoy doing multiple things. It keeps you fresh and creative. Your lack of focus is your focus, just like it is for me.
And I also want to say, you're just as handsome as from the YouTube.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Gary.
How are you gonna follow that up, bro?
Wow, man. So, like, I follow a lot of fitness YouTubers.
Yes.
And they are like you, having someone filming them. Like, and I want to do a kind of fitness channel and traveling style channel, but I'm always by myself. So, should I hire someone, or should I just look for someone who wants to do the same thing?
Can you put your mic closer? I want to make sure I understood. You follow a bunch of YouTube influencers, fitness.
Yeah.
And they do what?
They have like a D-Rock.
A D-Rock, got it. And you're asking?
And I want to do a kind of fitness traveling channel.
Yep.
So I'm asking if I
should hire
someone, or
do it like Casey?
Or do like a Casey.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to do?
So, man.
Listen, this is the theme of the whole of all the Q&A. There's no right way, there's right for you. So, can you afford to pay someone?
Yeah, I could.
Do you like the idea of having company?
Kind of.
No, but by the way, that's what I appreciate. The answer is actually no, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's fine. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like if I have someone, they are not going to do like what I'm thinking. So
then the answer to your question is you should not hire someone.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Guys, my time is up. Thank you so much, KL. Thank you.